Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn!
What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek, a wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, wherein we, your humble idiotic servants, hey, easy, wherein we, your idiotic humble servants, present our midweek dose of geekery for you, the people. Thank you. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interwebs shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, even a little bit early, is the lead editor-in-chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek. I give you the man, that son of a bitch, called Tim.
The champ is here. The champ is here. Long live the champ, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, my friend? How are you? Did you have a good Christmas?
I was doing well right up until that point.
Your holiday was lovely until you ran into the likes of me.
I was doing well until all of a sudden it seems that a kidney stone just popped into my life. I'm doing well. How about you, sir?
Swimmingly. Doing swimmingly.
Good.
I am loving life and had a wonderful holiday week with the family and enjoyed week one of two of vacation, which has been nice. So definitely getting some rest and recharging. So feeling good overall.
Excellent.
How about you?
It's been fantastic. It's
Wonderful.
been a lovely holiday season. We got in a ton of the Christmas movies that we had not caught last year. So
Nice.
over the last couple days, we made a fairly sizable push. Got the Polar Express in, of course, A Christmas Story, Elf. What did we watch on Christmas Day? Crap, I can't even remember.
Stranger Things? No.
No, we watched White Christmas.
There you go.
Which is kind of thanks to you, sir. Thanks to you with a class for turning me on to that one, because that is a fun movie. Bing Crosby probably toasted to the gills on that movie.
Oh yeah.
And Danny Kaye doing wonderfully.
Boy, girl, boy.
You know what is funny to me? So I was looking up the trivia on that, because I don't think I'd done that before, and some really funny bits of trivia, like the guy who plays the general.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the old man. He's 6 months younger than Bing Crosby was in the movie.
No kidding.
Like he was actually younger than Bing Crosby, so he's playing older. I guess Rosemary Clooney was asked later, she says, if only they could have dubbed my my dancing, it would be a perfect movie. I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny to be, admit that. The funny part is, until 2022, there was not an official soundtrack released for this movie.
Really?
Because so it was Paramount that put out the movie. Paramount had an exclusive deal with Decca, or maybe Bing Crosby did. So Rosemary Clooney had an exclusive deal. I don't know. Let's just put it this way. I can't remember. I can't keep the record company straight. But basically, the studio had a deal with one record company. Rosemary Clooney had a deal with another company exclusively. So they wouldn't let Rosemary Clooney be on the soundtrack for a competing label. So each one released their own soundtrack. And what they did was, for Rosemary Clooney's vocal on all of her songs on the one that she was not allowed to be on, they just dubbed in somebody else.
Really?
And the other one was mostly just songs that she had done, and I think they dubbed in someone over Bing Crosby or whatever. So it was like very interesting. And finally in 2022, you had a unification, if you will, of the White Christmas soundtrack.
Nice.
So finally it's like, okay,
Nice.
here it is. I thought that was hilarious. My family were just like, you're such a geeky schmuck. It's whatever. But I was amused. But yeah, so we got White Christmas. I forget what else. We did a couple others. And then recently we have started I believe this is our 7th rewatch of Ted Lasso.
Jeez,
because
wow.
we watched the Ted Lasso Christmas episode on Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
And Kaylin kind of seemed to be okay with it.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. So the other night I was like, we're going to start episode 1. We already know Kim already wants to watch it again, so we're going to start from episode 1. She's hooked on it. We watched another 3 episodes before recording tonight. I was going to watch either
Very
The
cool.
Princess Bride or A Few Good Men in anticipation for our Friday show teaser there. No, wasn't going to hear nothing of it. Wanted to watch Ted Lasso. So I'm like, all right, fine. So yeah, it's official. We've got a house full of Lasso fans here.
Very nice.
But yeah,
Very nice.
a good holiday season thus far.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, on my side, let's see. Last week, went to the Chris Kindle Market in the city of Chicago.
Have you glue wine?
Had some glue wine. Had a brat. Had
course
pretzel as big as your head.
I just imagine you walking around with like a tankard of glue wine with like the brat shoved into it like a swizzle. That's what I imagine.
It would be nice to do that if there was the space and room to do so. When we went, everyone and their brother was there. Like, we took an early train down. It was like we got to Daily Plaza at like 10:15. It opens at 11.
The Honorable Richard J. Daley.
The Honorable Richard J. Daley Plaza.
Is that where they got that? What the heck is it? The sculpture. What did he say? Is that where they got that? Picasso. Was that what
Yes.
Jake asked or something?
I think so. We get there. Now I'm thinking we'll just go duck into a Starbucks, wait 45 minutes, and then appear when it actually opens. We get there. There's already a line forming by the entrance. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So of course we get in line. We were in good position. But as time goes on, as we march toward 11 o'clock, the line starts to wrap around the city block and goes down and comes apparently all the way around where they have to start a second line next to us of people. To which I'm like, is anyone directing this traffic now? Because, the people that are just arriving, of course, are going to run in if they can. And we've all been standing here for 45 freaking minutes.
It's literally the department store scene with the Santa in A Christmas
Yes.
Story. Young man,
Yes.
the line starts here.
Yes.
Oh, no, it ends here. It
So,
starts back there.
We get in, and it was just mayhem. Like, we wisely went to there was basically a candy shop. I don't want to call it a hut because you can actually walk into it and you can walk around it, go to the cash register, check out, and leave. So it's bigger than a hut, but it's an enclosing that you can go into. And so we grabbed, because they have a bunch of German chocolates, German candies that are there. And so we tend to pick up some stuff there. There was a huge line as we walked out. So I'm like, all right, I'm glad we did that first, so we didn't have to wait in line for it. But then of course it's a question of what do you want to wait in line for? Because now we're hungry. We want to get a brat. And the challenge wasn't so much that it was a long line. It was figuring out where is the line in conjunction with the flow of traffic, back and forth.
I hate that.
So it was mayhem. It was just mayhem. So we get the glue wine. We're kind of walking around, and literally at one point we're walking with I'm literally holding my glue wine, like my arms are in, I'm holding my glue wine centered. So if I get hit, I'm not like rocking a lot and losing any of it, but it was shoulder to shoulder. Like there was literally no space. And, my kids and I are just walking through trying to just, enjoy ourselves a little bit. And back in my mind, I'm like, why are we doing this again? Because sweet Moses, it was insane.
That is kind of the thing that can ruin times like that. Like I don't love crowds, man. Like I will deal with crowds to a certain degree when it's stuff that I really want to do, but at a certain point I just kind of I hit my limit.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable when you're that crowded. It really isn't.
No, it's not.
They got to expand that, sir. They got to start,
well, there's been some talk about, potentially doing a different location. So we'll see. I mean, Daily Plaza is kind of like a traditional spot, but at the same time, if it leads to that sort of craziness, I don't know. There's got to be a better way.
Put it to a vote. That always works well in Chicago.
It does. But yeah, no, most of the week was just enjoying time with family. I not on Christmas Day, but on the day after, I prepared our annual roast beast, as we like to call it, the beef tenderloin with that has been marinated for 24 hours in a cranberry marinade. It's cranberry, garlic, rosemary, salt, pepper, a few other things in there. I think I said garlic already. Soy sauce, red wine. And then we take the marinade once I pull the meat out and put about, I think, 2 tablespoons of flour in. Cook that up, thicken it up, throw some butter in. You got a nice little sauce right there. And and then there's cranberries in it as well. Not just cranberry juice, but cranberries. So yeah, it was quite good. We had some Brussels sprouts. My wife made this winter squash casserole that's really good. Green bean casserole. Had some stuffing.
Ooh, love me some stuffing.
Good stuff. So yeah, no, dude, we have eaten well. Had a very good week and a lot of good family time. We watched Volume 2 of Stranger Things Season 5 on Christmas Day, Christmas evening, and basically sat there and took in three consecutive hours of the gang taking it to the upside down. So we got to get Uncle Todd locked in on that one with his family. Although I think that might be a little bit harder of a push given Ted Lasso. So
no, probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So when you were talking about a few other things in your seasoning, I was going to make some sort of herb joke pertaining to our prior discussion, but
yeah, let's not do that.
I decided to refrain.
Thank you.
You know, but I will just say
I don't want to embarrass anyone. So. Figures you would do this. My goodness. Got something going on. Is there a code red over there? Is there a red alert? All right. Yes. Thank you.
We're just going to do the whole show with this.
No, come on. Yeah, that's not going to get us banned at all. Or taken off Spotify or whatnot. Oh,
fine, gosh. Fine. All right.
So, yeah, good holiday week overall, and looking forward to another week of time off, and then we celebrate the new year this week, and then get back to it.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Next item, ladies and gentlemen, since I'm approaching 50, I have a colonoscopy on my calendar.
Okay.
On my calendar after the new year. However, this is my colonoscopy come early because I believe we're going to talk about fantasy football.
There it is, baby. The title was on the line the entire season, as I promised Uncle Todd, and
I only wish that I was sedated like I will be for the colonoscopy right now.
Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, you may call me many things. Oracle might now need to be one of them.
Oh, I thought we were heading a different direction.
No, because going back about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, I predicted that I would claw my way up into 6th place and make a run in the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, this week we had week 17 in fantasy football, our semifinals. I survived the quarterfinals. Actually, let me pull that up real quick because
do we need to go through the scores?
We do. I think it's important for the people to understand how good I done. 216 to 159 last week. I mean, just a whooping of the highest order, and it continues into this week. I love
how proud you are of this. For something that you have done absolutely nothing for, just like that championship belt on your shoulder, you've done nothing to earn it.
I did. I
purchased it.
I worked to earn the money to purchase it. I therefore earned the belt.
Did you cut a promo? Did you cut a promo?
I cut a promo every week.
You done any house shows? You done any house shows? Have you paid your dues?
I believe so.
One of these days, I'm going to get Bubba Ray Dudley on here. Talk to you. I'm sure he'll have a few choice words. A few choice words for you.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But apropos to your point, sir, one thing I happened to notice when I looked at, our standings in our league this year is, for all of my ballyhoo about, making a run in the playoffs. Sir, I stand as the team that made the least number of moves this season. So, in a way, you are correct. I haven't done a whole lot, and yet my team has risen to the occasion to the tune this week of 225 to 196. Ladies and gentlemen, all hail King Henry, because Derrick Henry posted 4 rushing touchdowns, 36 attempts for 216 yards, 81 fantasy points.
Old man Henry making a
Bam!
Who knew that you could do that with a walking stick?
It's incredible. It's incredible. But yeah, Joe Burrow, 47 fantasy points, outperforming my opponent's quarterback. I can't ever remember if it's Jason Williams or James. What was his name? Jamison Williams.
Jamesis, isn't it?
Jameson.
Oh, is it a different quarterback?
Oh no, sorry. I'm talking about my wide receiver, Jamison Williams from Detroit.
Gotcha.
He only put up 5 points. Stephon Diggs from New England, 22 points, and a blowout victory for them against the Jets. T. Higgins was a paltry 9 points, but Derrick Henry and then my other running back, Omarion Hampton, both putting up excellent numbers and really being the heart and soul of this victory this week. And then, Goddard, my tight end, he put up 9. Cameron, I shouldn't say that right. Cameron, the kicker dicker, put up a paltry 4 points. Very, very unusual for him. He usually puts up double digits. But then my Ravens, again, my defense has been the heart and soul of the team as well. And here we are, 225 to 196. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ is going to the finals to defend his crown, possibly to walk away as a 2-time back-to-back champion. And so I will be even more insufferable than I have been this year if that happens. And if not, it was a hell of a run for a team that was in last place for most of the season. How are you doing, sir, in your bracket?
I'm doing all right. 157 to 137. I've still got one player to go, and my opponent has no players to go, so I'm pretty much assured a victory at this point.
Nice.
And that'll, put me somewhere in the consolation losers bracket, which I don't want to go through all that because what does it matter? I'm in the losers bracket, so it don't matter. The one thing I will do...
You might get third place. Now, come on.
The one thing I do want to say right now is... Lord, I've never, ever, ever asked you for anything in fantasy football. Ever. Just want to note that down first. So, Lord, calling in this one right now. Smite him. Smite him with a holy wrath and vengeance.
Oh, my God.
Smite his team.
Oh.
A pox on his kicker.
Oh,
and all the people said amen.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, our first public prayer show. Good Lord. Oh, that is hysterical. Although I do want to say I'm realizing we did not touch on this a couple of weeks ago.
Don't touch it then. You don't know where it's been.
And it almost came to fruition. But when you and I faced off in the last week of the season, you had joked about hoping that Jaylen Warren, the running back who was playing Monday night, got some sort of illness and couldn't.
Yeah, food poisoning, I believe. It was bad enchiladas I was hoping for.
On Monday, he was ruled potentially out because he was not feeling well on that Monday and almost did not. And I'm sitting there like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. and
Lord?
He ended up playing. He put up enough points for me to surpass you. And
Lord, your
go on
servant
my run.
has been faithful. I thank you. I thank you for your demonstration of your favor upon me. Once again,
gosh.
Smite him like he was an Egyptian pharaoh. Amen.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, 2 prayers in one show. Look out.
Well, better cover all the bases.
Fair enough. Well, Moving on from fantasy football,
Thank God.
we will, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, the champ will be back next week. Right there.
Lord, again, you see what he's doing here? Hubris! Hubris! Pride.
Well, one man
Just praying for the fall, Lord. That's all. Just praying for the fall.
One man who does not have hubris, but has performed above and beyond, is one Stellan Skarsgard. And this week, as I was searching the interwebs for some interesting news and notes, did not realize this. Found this first on X, and then that linked to a YouTube clip. Variety does a. I think it's like a YouTube. It's
I hope
either
you know,
YouTube,
on principle, I'm not going to post the X link. Just on principle, I'm not
That's
posting
fine.
that.
That's
okay?
fine. No worries. You can just put, if you want to post the YouTube link, I have the timestamps for when they talk about it, because
Gladly.
you don't have to watch the whole thing.
All right.
But basically, what he it was actually, let me click on it real quick. Alexander. That's his son, Alexander, and he are kind of interviewing each other, having a conversation. Apparently, they're both nominated for the same award for two different movies that they were in. And at one point, they talk about for Stellan Skarsgard, doing this movie, given the fact that he had recovered from a stroke. I did not realize he had a stroke. And what he goes on to say is he did not feel. The question was really around: did he feel nervousness about doing the movie, given some of the limitations and just things that he's kind of dealing with from that? And and he responds that he didn't, because of what he had gone through doing Andor season 2. And what he went through was that he used an earpiece where someone off camera was reading his lines to him. He would have to work off of cues. The exact quote that I pulled out of X and he does talk through this as well in the YouTube clip.
Excuse me.
Is he talks about how rhythm is very important to when he's doing a scene, and so he talks about the guy talking in my ear must not interrupt my rhythm. He has to help me in that way, so I have to hear the other person saying my cue, and he has to, over that, say the line very fast and very clear without emotion. Say the line, and then I answer in the right rhythm and get my rhythm. So that was complicated, and so it's kind of this whole process he went through, where someone would basically read his lines in his ear, and he would have to then translate and then deliver them, but deliver them in the way that he would, typically, in his own, rhythm and as an actor. And I found that really interesting. Couldn't have, unless I had read this, I had absolutely no idea that was even a thing, or that he was going through something like that, because his performance was spot on. So,
yeah.
But yeah, thoughts on Stellan Skarsgard, kind of rising to the occasion, if you will.
I mean, it just goes to show, like, number one, the man's commitment, to essentially have to relearn this thing that you've been doing for decades, and how to make that work. Yep. I mean, I don't know how well set Stellan is for money and all that, but I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure there's a question of, like, do I want to keep doing this? Like, can I still do this?
He's 74, by the way.
So, I mean, to have to change the way that you prepare, perform, all of that has got to be intimidating and daunting.
Yes.
So kudos to him for that. Also kudos again for just the ability to do that. That's a crazy thing. Like, it's almost like if you play an instrument and all of a sudden you decided, hey, you know what? I play guitar right-handed. I'm going to learn how to play it left-handed.
Yeah.
Just for giggles. Like, yeah, sure. Your brain understands, but these hands are used to doing their individual jobs. Mm-hmm. This hand is not used to being the hand that's fretting. And now all of a sudden it's got to make chords.
Yep.
Granted, that might feel a little extreme, but again, like, give the guy credit for putting in the work and doing that, and really stepping into an area that had to be a little scary. Now, granted, it probably is not as scary as, the health issue you just dealt with, but it's, again, it does have to be scary in that, like, this is your job. This is who you are. This is what you've done. Mm-hmm. And that question of, like, can I still do it as well?
Yeah.
After this thing. The funny thing is, this is not the first time. Of course, there's been an earpiece in Star Wars, because famously Luke, Mark Hamill had one when they were doing the Dagobah scenes because the set was so massive. Everyone was so far away from where he was on the set, like you couldn't hear them. So he had the earpiece, which then would catch different like BBC radio channels.
Oh wow!
While he was in, like stray songs would be popping into his head. But then of course Marlon Brando famously did this on a lot of his movies, I believe from like the 80s on, where he would either have cue cards or he would have people reading his lines to him, because his justification, he wanted to hear the line for the first time and perform it, because that's what it's like having a conversation. Like you don't know exactly what you're going to say until you say it. So it's like that idea of like hearing it coming out of your mouth for the first time, that sort of thing. I also think it's just laziness, and Marlon kind of just got a little way too eccentric, and also was just able to do that because he was Marlon Brando. But so I mean, kudos to Stellan, man. That is a huge thing to do. That's amazing to me. And the fact that like I don't remember any of this coming out around then, and never would have guessed.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
amazing.
It's amazing to see the human spirit rise up and overcome, just like me in fantasy football, but with Stellan Skarsgard.
Don't you drag your fantasy football jabroni ass. And this is about Stellan Skarsgard and not your friggin' fake football team.
I'm just saying.
I know you're just saying, and I'm telling you, you're dumb for saying.
All right. Well, moving right along, Stellan, we salute you. Well done, sir. We will raise a glass. I haven't poured mine yet, but I will shortly. Moving on. Robert Downey Jr.'s one condition for coming back to do Avengers Doomsday. What, sir, do you imagine that one condition was?
Full frontal. I don't know.
Good Lord.
In a way, like I could picture him sending that like as an email and then just waiting for the return.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like something that he would do just because he's like, I can totally get away with this.
Yeah. Well, this is our little.
So what did you? Well, you have the thing in front of you.
I have it in front of me, so there's no sense in asking me. This is kind of our Avengers Doomsday factoid of the week.
Yes.
Because there's really
enjoy this for another year as we wait for this movie to come out.
There's no new news here, but apparently his one condition for coming back was that the Russo brothers would direct, and they are. And so I found that interesting.
I mean, yeah, and it seems like a total layup too. I mean, it was either I would imagine it's either that or maybe Favreau. But even I think Downey would realize like Favreau's probably not going to come back and do a movie of this scale because of the time commitment involved, and he's like knee deep in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Trying to do the, like Mando and Grogu along with this movie would have probably broken the dude. I mean, he already looks like he's probably got he's got some cholesterol numbers that he's got to work on and everything else. He probably doesn't need the extra stretch. Favreau has not exactly, been going light at the buffet, okay? And I say that as somebody who's been going wicked hard at the food over the past couple of weeks. I'm not exactly
casting a stone, eh?
I am not in beach shape either. So
I'm not talking about your shape. I'm talking about your when you start talking about cholesterol numbers. I don't know that
again. I know from where I'm talking about. It totally makes sense. Have you? The question I had was, have you seen the teaser, the Doomsday teaser, which
for Chris Evans?
Yeah.
The
only one that's on YouTube, even though there's like 15 reaction videos to other teasers that I don't know where the hell these things are.
These teasers that are getting created by fans now.
Well, no, these aren't ones that fans are creating. It's like, oh, well, there was this teaser from this thing, and there's different teasers that have been released in different areas, but none of them are on YouTube. We just have this one Chris Evans one where I'm like, thank you for not telling me much. I mean, we get a little something like, okay, Steve had himself a kid, great.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm like, okay, that's a minute and a half of nothing, sweet. But I've seen like Emergency Awesome has done like 2 or 3 videos of like, ooh, the new Doomsday trailer. I'm like, Where are you seeing this, and how come they aren't sharing it
So
with us?
my understanding is, and I guess this will be a little bonus Week in Geek content
good.
that's not in our list, but so Avatar: Fire and Ash came out a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and this Doomsday teaser was threaded into the release of that movie. So this first one that revealed Chris Evans would be back in Avengers Doomsday was week 1 of that movie being released. Now week 2, this past week, I believe, was Thor. And then in week 3, this coming week that we're about to enter into, that it would be, I think, one that's a little more focused on Doctor Doom and, potentially just the movie overall.
So like we're a week and a half, 2 weeks behind on these things for all of us people who aren't going to go out and catch whatever movie.
A little bit, yes. I was kind of so when the Chris Evans one came out, I'm kind of curious on tomorrow if the Thor one will be on YouTube, because that's when I think the Chris Evans one came out.
Okay.
Because it came out like over the weekend when the movie came out, and then it got posted to YouTube.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping the Thor one now will show up tomorrow so we can watch that. And then my guess is this coming weekend will be the third one, which is supposed to contain the first shot of RDJ as Doctor Doom. And then that teaser would then get, put out on YouTube.
And these are all like before Avatar, or is it different movies?
It's just Avatar. It's only being done with Avatar.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's under the Disney umbrella now.
Yes. Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
So they're really trying to get back to those old days where people would actually like go buy a ticket to a movie to go see a teaser or go see a trailer and then just walk out. They're really trying to get back to that.
Kind of.
It ain't happening for me. No, I'm sorry.
No.
Nope. My lazy ass will just stay home till it goes on the YouTubes.
I mean, I don't mind watching the next Avatar movie, but I don't know that I want to go to the theater to see it. So,
no, I still haven't seen the second one. And
I saw the second one in theaters. It was okay.
Yeah.
But to me, it's
so weird how those movies have made so much money and yet nobody really talks about them until one comes out. And then within a month after it hits like home video or streaming, silence.
Yeah. Yep.
It's so weird. It's got to be it's going to be an interesting case study because I think Cameron originally said there was going to be 5, and now he's actually said that with his third one, he feels like he could walk away, which to me almost feels like he's realizing like these are, I probably ought to do another movie that'll actually come back to doing some cultural significance before I call it quits. Like I ain't getting any younger.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Well,
gosh.
and I'm sure he has a plan, but I'm not sure where it's all going. Like when I saw the second movie, I'm like, okay, so what's the gimmick here? Are we just going to go around the planet to all these different parts of, these different aliens that have, these different, because they're the ones that are native to the planet.
The Na'vi.
Yeah, these different factions of Na'vi that happen to be tied to the elements, and then what happens? Like, what's the end game for all of this? Because the start of all of this, the first movie was all about humanity trying to find like another place to settle in because Earth was basically wasted. And like, I don't feel like to me there was no movement in the second movie on and sorry, we're going off on a bit of a tangent here, so I'll wrap it up, but I just didn't feel like there was any movement in that story. Like, if the end game is at some point there is equilibrium between the Na'vi and the humans, when are you going to start having there be some peace between the humans? Because guess what? The humans were still a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? In the second movie, like they weren't. It's just more of the same. And so, are you going to do 4 movies of the humans being the wrecking ball until the 5th movie you finally peace somehow kind of comes into play at some point? I mean,
what's going to happen here is in the 4th movie, there's a gigantic ship that is going to sail around Na'vi, and all of those groups are going to get on it, and they're going to unite. But the ship is going to hit something, and it's going to sink. Then in the 5th one, the survivors are going to have to face down the newest thing that the humans are throwing at them, a cybernetic organism called an Eliminator. Kind of a Terminator, but not really. And that's the end of it right there.
Okay. think we need to move on to the next
We
story.
should, yes. That was terrible fantasy booking on my part, but that's all I got.
Well, we'll have to talk some Avatar in a different show here, but
If I ever see the second one.
yeah, this but this article on RDJ coming back only if the Russos direct was from our friends at BGR.com by way of Yahoo. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're in an Inception portfolio here. I can't tell you where it begins or where it ends. But moving on, we have a follow-up, ladies and gentlemen. We don't follow up often on our Week in Geek articles, but right here we have a Week in Geek follow-up.
Follow-up?
That's right. A couple weeks ago, we talked about an article around a lawsuit that was pending with Lucasfilm. That's right.
It's our follow-up music.
All right. Look at that. Yeah, that's kind of nice. It's got a little bit of a red alert sort of thing going on there. Oh, and you got Shiki in there too. Sir, you are the master. You are the master.
So we're following up.
From our friends at Reuters.com, Reuters.com, sorry. Lucasfilm wins their bid to throw out a UK lawsuit over quote-unquote resurrection of Star Wars characters. This, if you remember, we talked a few weeks ago about a lawsuit that was brought by a company against Disney. The company's name was Tyburn Film Productions, who claimed they entered into some sort of deal with Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin. And in this agreement, it gave them the right to be the first to, quote-unquote, resurrect Mr. Cushing by way of visual effects. Of course, Grand Moff Tarkin was brought back digitally for Rogue One. And so this company was claiming it had lost around £250,000 and sued Lucasfilm and fellow Disney subsidiary Lunoc Heavy Industries at London's High Court for alleged unjust enrichment at its expense. However, this case was thrown out. The judge said it is impossible to identify anything at all that belonged to Tyburn, which can be said to have been transferred to Lucasfilm or Lunoc, meaning the case could not continue, and so therefore the case is thrown out. So it does not appear that Disney or Lucasfilm will have to deal with any repercussions of this. Like one of the things that came out of the article we talked about was if this company were to win, how would that ripple through this idea of using digital effects to bring characters back if the human actor no longer is alive?
Yeah. And
so this was kind of an interesting twist to that, bringing it to an end. But, sir, thoughts on the fact that Grand Moff Tarkin, hey, he could show up again?
I kind of wonder where, and I didn't read the article because, that's kind of my gimmick for this show. I kind of wonder was it like almost like a legalese, like, okay, this isn't how properly worded for what they actually did because the technical process is like it. I'm wondering if it was something in the minutia of that, because it was probably termed very vaguely because this sort of technology did not exist back then.
Right. And that happens, like I've seen it in my work, where you have sometime like during, I want to say it was during the late 90s, early 2000s, like there were certain entrepreneurs who were who ran their own and I'm not saying certain like famous certain people, like I don't think these folks that I didn't run into them, but who I happen to cross paths with in a professional way never amounted to being a big name in the tech industry. But what they would do is they would essentially create patents for just ideas based on maybe some core technology that they are working on, but they think of other applications and try to open those patents and make them and get them established in the event someone tries to take something around that technology to go do that thing, because in a way that then requires whatever entity who does that to pay them some kind of royalty for that. It's and this kind of feels like that. Like it's almost like this company went into a deal with Cushing, like, well, we know at some point, there may be this need to do this, and we're going to cover our bases. But it sounds like from what at least the quote they have from the judge in this article is that it seems like whatever Tyburn is claiming is really difficult to prove based on the wording in the contract. So it doesn't feel like the contract is super solid, which
I'm guessing they knew, because the other thing that stood out to me is only £250,000.
I know, like
I'm guessing they're like, let's just go for a low number that'll make us some money, but it's nothing that maybe someone's going to get upset about. There was a in Once Upon a Time in Mexico, there's a point when Cheech Marin is negotiating with a character, and he's like, the character's like, you only asked for like $20,000. He's like, well, if I'd asked for more, then you just might kill me, rather than pay me. He's like, it's, it's civil, it's something that we can both live with. And I almost feel like this was something that they were hoping to be like, well, let's just see if they'll just settle rather than going forward, or maybe we can get it just because it's not like we're asking for $4 million or something,
right?
Because that seemed, as soon as you said that, I was like, that seems super low for something like this.
Yeah. So it could be that, or the other thing is, what are then the repercussions if the case were to move forward and they were to win, right? So they're getting a pittance right now, but that could open the door for them maybe to explore other avenues.
Yeah.
Where they could make more revenue off of, deals that they might have cut with other actors who may be in a similar situation as Cushing or something like that. Like I don't know, I'm being speculative when I say that. So, but to your point, like the fact that they went for a low amount, you wonder if there was a different end game in play than just getting paid, so.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that angle as well, that they might have a fistful of these things from aging actors who are like 2-3 years away from kicking off, and they're just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Who knows? They could have signed Patrick Stewart.
I mean,
who's still with us, thankfully, but
you never know with like some of these, with some folks, because I mean, people sign stuff all the time. Just, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see like a Wikipedia of all the bad contracts and endorsements and different things that people have signed over the years.
Like it wouldn't surprise me if like Christopher Lee, who played Count Dooku, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they got locked into a deal with him or something like that too, potentially.
Yeah.
Could be. But again, speculative, don't know. All right. Moving right along. Going back to swinging from Star Wars back to Marvel. Marvel, it sounds like we'll be heading in a bit more of or a bit less of an interconnected storytelling mode once we get past Avengers Secret Wars. This comes to us from our friends at superherohype.com by way of Yahoo. Once again, the portfolio inception never ends. And but really the idea here being that once we get through Avengers Secret Wars, there is going to be a shift in the MCU storytelling, which I'm going to be kind of interested with, because what happens after all of this? Like, are there any heroes or stories left that people are going to be super like? I'm just wondering, are we going to run into the long tail of Marvel where fan interest is going to start to wane a little bit? You know what I mean? I know we've talked about there being like superhero fatigue, but this is different. It's less fatigue and more like, or let me put it in wrestling terms, right? We're moving away from John Cena, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, and we're moving toward less established stars like who are in NXT. Not to knock NXT, but basically they're the developmental territory, right? And so the names are less known and they're being developed. And in some ways with the Marvel long tail, the fans may not be familiar with some of the names. And so there's like more work you need to put into, I don't know, help bring their story out. And are they going to do different enough storytelling, or are they going to run into the Walking Dead issue where you tell great stories for 4 or 5 seasons and now you've kind of explored all the human stories there are to explore, and now you're recycling them because there's just with different characters. I don't know. What's your kind of thoughts on this move to be less interconnected?
I think if anything, it's maybe what they're counting on is going more in a route that you have with the comic books themselves, where you can still have kind of self-contained universes, even though everything is, the bulk of things are taking place, Earth 616 universe and all that. You can have the Fantastic Four doing their thing. You can have, the event, you can have the X-Men doing their thing. You can have Spider-Man doing his thing. And all of these things can be taking place parallel to each other without having to cross over, because that was one of the big things with the original Secret Wars, which I believe was back in the 80s, early mid 80s, I believe. Because I remember that being kind of a big deal because it was a huge crossover. Because before that, you'd have different people different characters would guest in other and cross over with other heroes books and stuff like that. But having like almost everybody all together in one story was like at least for comic book people of that age, like kind of I was, early teens, preteens to mid-teens, like that wasn't something we knew about. That just wasn't a thing. And maybe we're heading more towards that direction where these heroes kind of will have different sections of turf, and really the story isn't all about like building here, and they just kind of start going off in different directions because there are only so many gigantic crossovers that you can do. Maybe they'll start doing a thing where it's like, okay, now this is going to be for all the mutants, so then we kind of get things like that. Or I think that it's probably the way they're going to try and counter some of the fatigue and the trying to draw everything together and have everything lead to each other, because they're already getting in a certain way a bit of this anyways. Like there's a whole bunch of people who have been very vocal about the fact that from phase through the Infinity Saga, through Iron Man through Endgame, everybody saw everything. And now it's much less so. There's people who have not kept up on all the Marvel shows. They haven't kept up on all the movies. And so they're picking and choosing what their stuff is. And that's kind of what a lot of people do with comic books. Like they're following their books. They don't follow everything,
Yeah.
And I think that can probably work. If it's done well, people will continue watching. They'll buy the tickets, they'll stream the shows, as long as the shows and the movies are done well. That's been the big hitch, because I think the need to tie things in and to try and, okay, we need to make progress here, we need to do this, we need to adjust, we need to restart with a new big bad. All of that has compromised some of the vision of like, let's just make some good movies, let's make some good shows, because you have different things that happen that throw everything into a cocked hat. Like you have the whole, Falcon and Winter Soldier story getting rewritten because COVID. And then you have the whole, what was it? Secret Invasion or whatever the Nick Fury show was.
Yeah.
That got some serious rewrites. Like Seth Rollins is supposed to be in that. They took out a whole bunch of characters. Like, a lot of that has just pissed people off because like it's just not good, because you're trying to adjust and course correct instead of just making something that's cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully they can make it all work towards this goal, and then it's not going to be like a fart in a punch bowl, because I could definitely see that working. Everything doesn't have to be for everybody. Not every movie has to. They're just going to have to be a little bit more reasonable with their budgets.
Yeah.
And more reasonable with their expectations. And that's probably a good thing. We might actually start seeing some more interesting comic book movies being made, because now it's like not everyone has a budget of $250 million for the movie. It's like, hey, we can give you 75 to 100 million. What can you do?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd love to see like even like a Robert Rodriguez take on something like that. Like give him like a C or D list character and like a budget of $50 to $60 million, and see what that would look like. That would probably be friggin' cool, because you're going to get something way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I've gone. How do you feel about this, sir? Because you are one of the folks who is prominent amongst, like, I haven't followed everything.
Yeah.
Not that I have.
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. I mean, it's going to be an obvious statement here. I need to see what Doomsday and Secret Wars ends up doing. And I've read rumors that Secret Wars could serve as a reset on the MCU. So is it we're going back to some of the characters we've already explored, but maybe in a different way? It's just hard to say. Like when I read this and saw things like, instead of everything overlapping in individual characters and storylines, remaining largely separate until a major event movie rolls around. That's fine. In a lot of ways, that's what we're getting with Star Wars right now, right? I mean, we don't see, the only crossover we really had has been Mando and Boba Fett, but otherwise Mando's in his lane, Ahsoka's in her lane. There was, Mando's been kind of the nexus point where a lot of this stuff started. Ahsoka did show up first in Mando. We got the mention of Grand Admiral Thrawn, but then that kind of went off in its own direction, and we haven't had a lot of crossover since then. We've had Andor, which of course was in the past. I'm trying to think what else has been.
Let's just forget about the Acolyte. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
The Acolyte has been in the past. So yeah, there really hasn't been, like if anything, this sort of approach seems to be what Star Wars has been doing, which is just, taking a look at these individual kind of characters and storylines. And again, for them, it's kind of like weaving stories from the past into the overall arc of what, has come to be the canon. So it'll be interesting. I'm just kind of curious what's going to be their, secret sauce for getting people to come to the theaters to watch these movies, because, origin stories have kind of a hook because it's kind of interesting to see like what's the story they're telling, for this hero becoming who they are and that sort of thing. But, we've also seen with Marvel that they sometimes get lost, when they are just kind of telling those individual stories when there isn't the interconnection that's going on. Like, I feel like sometimes that's when they haven't done their strongest work. I mean, the Incredible Hulk only exists in the Marvel universe because he's jumped into other movies. Like, he's never had his own movie since, the 2007 or 2008 version, right?
Edward Norton.
The Edward Norton one.
Yeah, but which is pre-MCU. I mean, ish. Because it was rolled. It was kind of rolled in a little bit with Tony Stark, but it was still a property that was owned by another studio.
Right.
So they were kind of like, maybe we can borrow this or whatever.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they've gotten away from the. I think the need to make things tie in, and for everything to have to tie in somewhere, has taken away the focus on character. Because Tony Stark is interesting because as a character he's interesting. They gave him an interesting story, and of course Robert Downey Jr. Playing the hell out of the character. Sam Jackson, oh my gosh, why am I Nick Fury? Yeah. Is interesting because Sam Jackson makes him interesting, and because he's kind of this guy who's in the shadows and all that. Like, the characters, the times when the characters didn't work were when those movies are kind of like Thor: The Dark World. Thor 2 was for a long ass time like the worst Marvel movie. Why? Because they hadn't quite figured out how to make that character interesting or relatable or really something that people would want to watch. It took the evolution of that character over the other being in other movies, plus then hitting, not Love and Thunder, Ragnarok, to then be like, oh yeah, now we've got it. We know who this character is. Now he's got legs. By having to connect all this stuff, they've gone away from the characters, and unfortunately, that's usually where things go off the rails. Is because if at the end of the day, like, all stories are kind of, it's a hero's journey. Like, it's the characters that make this stuff interesting. And if you're spending so much time figuring how this is going to all connect and Easter eggs and all this stuff, you lose sight of, like, what's the character's journey? Who is this person? Why should I care? A lot like like Paul Heyman talking about wrestling. Who are these guys? Why should I care? Why are they fighting? It's the same thing. So hopefully, if you're not so worried about connecting stuff anymore, you can kind of afford to do some things. Like, the most interesting Marvel movies are the ones where you start really getting into the characters, or even a movie like Deadpool, where that was totally not connected to the Marvel universe at first. But it was interesting because they really just went whole hog into who this character is. Like, they just full-blown loony. And people were like, this is awesome, because this is actually as bat spit as insane as this character needs to be.
Yeah.
And Marvel just hasn't gone all in like that for a long-ass time. So, I mean, they kind of did when they did the Deadpool Wolverine movie, which is great. unfortunately, that seems like it got treated as an anomaly, and everyone else is still kind of like in this, hey, well, here's a generic new thing that you should watch because it connects. It's like, well, that's not really why we watch the movies. Yep. Yeah, that's what I think.
Let's see. This article, we've already kind of talked about it, but after Secret Wars, stories will be more isolated until big crossover events, which, again, it could work, but I think it's going to depend on, like you just mentioned, I think it's going to depend on if they focus on character and if they get the stories, with the right level of interest and intrigue for fans to want to come to the theaters to watch them. So we'll have to see.
Oh, and if you're going to have those crossovers, you don't need to make everything an on your left end game moment. It doesn't need to be everybody.
Sure.
It can just be like a crossover of like 8 characters or whatever. Like, it doesn't need to be the entire MCU shows up on screen. Like, you ace that once, stop trying to recreate it. It's not going. We've already seen Star Wars try and do it. It don't work because you didn't earn it.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. And then the last thing it mentions is that Secret Wars is anticipated to involve universe-spanning conflict and may reset or reorganize the MCU structure. After it concludes, the franchise's narrative approach could shift toward more independent storytelling with occasional large-scale ensemble films. So it seems like, maybe Marvel's learning from this Phase 4 and 5 situation and, is trying to, pump the brakes or maybe, head in a different direction where there may not be an interconnected plan like there was across phases 1 through 3. And let's be honest, phases 1, 2, and 3 did so well because that had never happened before. And now that it has happened, maybe it's time to go back to something that's less interconnected like that. And maybe that's the secret sauce they need to kind of get, interest in the product and in the brand going again. But to your point, I think it comes down to, can they develop compelling characters and compelling stories that people are going to want to spend their hard-earned money on in the theaters to go see? And that's going to be interesting. And like I said, if they're doing a full reset, so we're getting another round of Captain America movies or whatever, fine. But if they're also starting to lean on the long tail of Marvel as a way of trying to draw people in, I just hope that they really, to your point, invest in developing compelling characters to draw people in to want to care about those characters. So,
I mean, one example I just want to throw out: Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Yes. Stylistically,
I was
the first F4 movie. I think we both agree that actually was pretty good.
No, I still think that the old Fox first one it's not terrible. The thing is, like, you just have to realize, like, it's not Marvel good. Like, that's just the way comic book movies were at that time. For its time, and for the other movies that were taking place at that time, the way that comic book movies were kind of treated and produced, it was pretty good, and to this day, it still holds up over the second one that they did with Fox, and it's damn sure holds up over Fant Four Stick. So it was good stylistically, and I think they achieved that in trying to make sure that you understood, like, there are not only there other universes where stuff is happening, they can be vastly different, and here is how we're doing this, and it was great that way. The characters were just not that interesting. Like, they were interesting at times. Ben Grimm was probably one of the more interesting characters in it. And unfortunately, that's not great because Reed Richards is Reed and Sue are supposed to be the lead in a way. And it just was not fantastic. It was not fantastic. But we'll see what they do with that. Maybe they're kind of setting that up to then really make it jarring when they're in another universe or the crossover happens. But it's like, that's not a great sign because, again, you have Marvel's first family and you somehow kind of made them somewhat dull in a way. Like it felt a little generic, and I was really hoping for that not to be the case. So hopefully they learn their lesson here, and then when they get to X-Men and you start getting some more of these, they'll kind of be like, okay, it's okay to make this different and maybe a little weird and lean into it a bit more instead of like, well, we need to make this appealing for everyone. No, because every book isn't for everyone. So why do the same with the movies?
Well, we will see what a less interconnected Marvel will look like once we get through Doomsday and Secret Wars. Mm-hmm. Last article, I'm not expecting Uncle Todd to have much to say on this one, but I wanted to more just kind of walk him through this. So I have in the past...
I see math. I'm out.
So I've put this title in our show notes, or sorry, in our outline for the show. A little maths from the man they call Tim's Game, EVE Online, that will make your head spin. And Uncle Todd's out. He's out already.
My brain hurts just.
I found this article.
With this.
I promise you'll find some humor in this. Okay. I found this article from PC Gamer, and what they talked about was so EVE Online, for those who forget, is a space, a ship-oriented game where you essentially can do a variety of different things. It's very open world, very much you have a lot of agency over what you want to do in the game. You can be an explorer, you can be mining, but you can contribute to the in-game economy as much as you choose to. But this article started off with for EVE Online in 2025. Since we're coming to the end of the year, what was the huge destruction total in this game? Because this game is about not just building things and not just about making in-game money, but it is about there are factions, there are groups who will meet out in the less secure areas of space.
Oh, I think I've heard some of these, like the damage, like the what
and
the
do
battle
these massive battles.
Stuff.
Oh yeah. So players destroyed an eye-watering 1.142 quadrillion. So in the game, the in-game money is called ISK, I-S-K. Okay, I forget what it stands for, but that's the in-game money. That's how you buy your ships, you buy different equipment. Uh-huh. Players destroyed an eye-watering 1.142 quadrillion ISK worth of ships and structures throughout 2025. So just in this year alone.
That's a real ISK load right there.
It is. And this is according to the parent company, CCP Games, end-of-year statistics for this game. If you do... So here's what's kind of interesting. So ISK is the in-game currency. Mm-hmm. Then they have this currency called Plex, and this is what you actually can spend your US dollars on to buy Plex, and Plex has a value in ISK, okay?
So there's like two exchange rates going on here?
Basically. So using rough math...
Somebody getting rich off of this. This is some sort of a Ponzi scheme happening here. Oh...
So using rough math based on Plex, which is this paid in-game currency, the total in-game losses for this year equate to about $6 million worth of assets destroyed through this. And through this estimate though this estimate is approximate because ISK doesn't have a fixed real-world value. So there is no way you can physically buy the ISK money.
Yeah,
you have to buy Plex, and then Plex can be converted into ISK.
There's some sort of funny money scheme going on. Somebody's skimming off the top. Someone's buying their own island.
I'm telling you right now, what I feel like this game is missing is some sort of like world for like casino gambling. So like that's the thing that we're missing, is some gambling sort of thing.
Why do we need that? You've got that in real life now.
Well, fair enough.
Jeez, that's insane, dude. So like when you play.
Yes.
Are you going in there? Like, do you have to like put up some money and be like, oh, I got to spend $50 so I can build this or that? Or
the one thing I do have is I have every 3 months, I pay a $60 subscription fee, which gives me essentially what they call, like, you can be in this alpha class where you basically can work up to a certain level, but you can't go beyond it, and you're kind of limited from that point on what you can do in the game. Or you can purchase the subscription like I do to be like an Omega subscriber. And that opens up everything to you. Like, you have no limit on the skills you can earn. You can buy any class and level of ship that you want. It's the world's your oyster. And so that's the money that I put in. I don't put in my own money to buy, Plex is sometimes gifted to me. Like for example, this week during the holidays.
You got people giving you tribute? What's going on here?
No. So what the game does is for all players, they will have like a holiday. They call them crates, but they're essentially in-game,
upgrades and stuff
upgrades,
like that.
prizes, that sort of thing. And part of it is, they have a holiday crate where you can get like, something that you can use in the game, but you also can get Plex, which is the kind of in-game money that I was telling you about. And so, so I could certainly go and take some amount of the Plex that I have and sell it on the open market in the game to convert it into ISK, which I have 40 Plex right now. 20 of it is like 90 million ISK. Like I could make like a bunch of money, like a bunch of in-game money if I were to sell it, but I don't. I'm holding on to it. But in the
other
game
portfolio, your Eve portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the two main activities I do are mining, actually exploring.
I
and
would
mining.
love to be sitting around the kitchen table when you're explaining to your wife, no, honey, don't worry. I put it all in Plex. We're safe for retirement. And she's like, what kind of a fund is that? No, it's for this video game I played. She's like, that's it. I'm calling a divorce lawyer right now. Like, while we're having this conversation, I'm calling a divorce lawyer and putting him on speakerphone.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah. So it's a fun. And here's the other factoid I wanted to drop for you. EVE Online launched on May 6th of 2003. This game is 22 years old.
Wow.
And still going strong with this much activity on it. So just wanted to say it's
so like how active is it like when you're like playing? Like how much action is in there? Is this just a lot of like kind of almost Sim City world building sort of thing?
It's kind of like I said, it depends on what you want to do. So for me, because I want to just basically do stuff solo and I don't really I don't go on Discord. I don't try to connect with a lot of other players. I certainly could do that. And actually my kids have encouraged me to do that because I've talked about how there are some parts of the game that are hard to do.
They're after their ISK inheritance. That's what it is.
That's right.
We got to get him to convert it out of Plex.
But like when I do exploring, the ship that I have is not offensive at all and has very bad defense, but is one of the few ships that, for example, you can do cloaking and you can, it's meant to be a ship where you hide and kind of find things and use different tools to detect those things and go and fetch them and that sort of thing. And so you're very much like not seek and destroy, but hide in the shadows and kind of pop up, grab something and go, and so sometimes it's helpful to have a group with you to do that. Or if you want to go do mining in some of the, because they have different, not to get too deep in the game, but the game has like different security levels of like galaxies that you can go into or systems that you can go into. And so if the security level goes too low, then players can attack you with no consequence to them at all. If the security level of the system is high and they attack you, there's like an in-game, like NPC security ships that show up and just like pummel them into a, submission. And so I say that because like if you go mining in some of the more, some of the low security systems, you need to have other people with you so that some of them can play the role of fighting off, because of course
gotta have like security,
right? It's every man for himself. So they're going to pirate. Like if you're in those low security systems have very valuable ores and things like that you can mine. There's of course going to be piracy because if you mine it, they're going to just want to blow you up and take the ore. And so, so there's that aspect of it, but it really depends on what you want to do. I mean, from what I've read, like some people are way deep into this. Like this is almost like a second life for them where they have a role within a larger organization. They have like that organization is run like a business. They, seek and, they go to different systems as a group and seek and destroy and look to dominate and basically try to own, like there's a whole area of the galaxy that is basically open for players to just dominate and rule over. And so a lot, some of these larger organizations kind of control big swaths of this. And I just don't have the time to do that. So I just go on my little exploration raids and my mining raids, and that's about all I do. And I'm happy doing that. So it's very very zen.
Well, I just noticed that Eve Online does work on Mac, so
Oh boy.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to sneak up on you.
Okay. All right. Kick me in the in the nads digitally apparently. So
Yes.
for all those times you brought the belt out, here you go.
Yep.
Here's to you.
Kicking you right in the plex.
Oh yeah. Well, that, my friends, is your week in geek.
All righty. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. And we're actually we got another section here. What do you got for and another thing before I forget?
Real
and
quick,
just
my
barrel
end
through
another.
that?
Yeah, my end another thing real quick is the girl with the dragon tattoo from 2011. This is the Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara, Stellan Skarsgård. See how I tied it in?
That is nice.
Version of this. I say that because I actually watched I'm forgetting if it was Swedish. Might have been a Swedish version. This originated from a Nordic country. I'm forgetting where. I don't know if it was Norway or not. But basically, this was the Americanized version of it. But it was done very true. I saw that first movie. I thought they did a very, very in line and true to that first movie sort of retelling of it, but done in a very stylistic way. And so I really I got to look up real quick. Should have looked this up ahead of time. I'm trying to remember who the director. David Fincher was the director. Yeah, David Fincher. Right, screenplay by Steven Zalian. I mean, this movie. Oh, the music. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. This movie overall, stylistically, visually, story-wise, they just did a great job with it. And I was thrilled to finally see it come to a streaming service that I pay money for, and I don't have to pay to see it. And I want to caution our listeners, if you're not aware of the story, there are some very hard parts of it. They're somewhat violent. There's a little bit of unfortunate sexual assault that happens in it. So I just want to make sure it's not, I don't want to sell this as this
There's
happy
a whole bunch of trigger warnings is what you're saying.
Yeah, it just buyer beware. But overall, it's a very good story, and what I appreciate about it is that the character, the girl with the dragon tattoo, and the reporter who is working for this man from this wealthy family to investigate a murder, come together over this or connect over this idea of trying to find a serial killer of women. And so I think it's a really well done story. The way they do the mystery is well done, and just overall, just really enjoy the movie. Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara, Christopher Plummer is in this, Robin Wright, Jolie Richardson. So really good cast. And the most unfortunate part about it is that there are two other stories that follow this one, and there were plans at one point to do those sequels. Those sequels never happened, and I don't think they ever will with that cast. And so, so I would just highly recommend on the Peacock, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Very nice, sir. I'm getting inspired by you mentioning Daniel Craig here, and I'm gonna go with
I do declare.
Benoit Blanc returns in Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Knives Out 3 for those keeping track at home. Watch this with the family. Couple days. I think we might have actually watched this day before Christmas Eve. Or we might have watched this on Christmas. I don't know. We watched a lot of movies over the span of like 3-4 days. So it's tough to remember exactly where. But it was very interesting just to kind of see the further evolution of Benoit Blanc, but also like, that these Knives Out movies are going to be well-constructed mysteries. That there's going to be a lot going on and all of that. The thing that was interesting here is the way that in which Rian Johnson brings in faith into the story, because it's a story centered on, an established priest in a parish, and then a new priest coming in to serve as his associate, and the mystery that ensues surrounding them, and the way in which, like, very deftly they kind of talk about the different aspects of faith in terms of like something that is, at play in the world today, where we see a lot of folks looking for power, looking for control and all that. And then you have, someone speaking for the other side of that. And it was very interesting watching that be treated with a degree of, obviously, there's levity, there's funny moments in the, because that's Knives Out. Like there's definitely funny moments, but it was also treated with a degree of reverence in a way, and also seriousness. And I liked how the movie took itself seriously. It wasn't winking at you like, oh, and hey, we're talking about the clergy or whatever. There is very much a serious undercurrent to this movie, and it worked really well because all those were like in any kind of well-made dish or cocktail or whatever. Like all the elements are balanced properly, and it was very masterfully done. Especially kind of the climax, I thought was very well done, and not so much even the revelation of the killer and the the kind of the unwinding of it, but just the way that happened in a very unexpected way. I thought was very interesting and a great way to go and keep these movies fresh, because like the first one was fantastic, the second one was also great, and then with this one I'm like, surely it's going to have to tail off a little bit, right? No. If Rian Johnson keeps like finding new ways to kind of tweak this and to find other subjects and treats them with the same degree of like scrutiny and also playfulness, keep making these movies for another 3 or 4. Like, this is really well done, I thought. So I'm going to recommend Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery for my and another thing this week. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the show. This is the final Week in Geek episode of 2025. This is being released on New Year's Eve, so we hope you all enjoy. Oh my gosh, the friggin' belt again. Tune in on a Free Range Idiocy Friday for our show where we will talk about a famous director who was taken from us way too soon. But that will be in 2026. So as we're hopefully we'll all see each other then. Who knows, though, the way that the world is going, the whole thing might fart out of existence at 12:01 a.m. Who knows?
Jeez. A little existential crisis right there.
Let's all start checking in with Australia and see how things go there, and we'll just take it from there. Thank you all for watching and listening. We do so appreciate y'all. You can go to freerangeedc.com and you can find all of our episodes there. Subscribe to the Podbean app. You can find us on all of the major podcast providers. That would be Apple Podcast. You can also find us on Pandora. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Amazon. Just search for Free Range EDC on any of your favorite podcast purveyors. I'm sure you'll find us there. You can also find full video episodes on our YouTube channel. The link for that is in the show notes. We are also on the YouTubes, we are on the Facebook, we are on the Instagram. You can find all of those at Free Range Idiocy. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns, send those to Tim at Free Range Idiocy, and he'll get back to you as soon as possible. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand this back to the man they call Tim to take us home. How are we going to just tie this up for the year? How are we going to just bring this all together at the end of the year and just kind of cinch it all together?
To the fantasy gods, I say, don't listen to the Uncle Todd, but continue to throw your weight behind the man, the myth, the legend right here. The channel is here. To the interwebs, we say you're suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking at you. And to our listeners, we wish you a very happy new year. Happy holidays, much merriment, fun, be safe, as always. Be healthy, be kind. But as we like to wrap things up here on the weekend, good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, or that year comes, here's to the grindstone.
Now get the hell out of here!